Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast and our live stream for Chelsea v Aston Villa on Sunday. We're getting a lot of questions about a superstar on our channel, Mr. Justin, who hasn't been on the channel for a while. He's going through a very tough time at the moment, and we have, as friends of Justin, we're all best mates. We've gave Justin time and space and an ear, and we've been there for Justin during this time. And we're just sort of sending our love to Justin for everything that he's going through at the minute. So he will be back. He has assured me he will be back on the channel. So big love to Justin. Welcome to everybody in the chat as well. We really want you to get involved at home, sharing your thoughts. We're going to be doing 3 episodes in one. So we are going to be doing the match preview as normal, the predicted lineup, but it's not our predicted lineup tonight. It is your predicted lineup at home. So when we get to that phase, we'll be asking you guys at home to share the players that you want to see in the starting lineup on Sunday. And then Hannah is going to be picking my score predictions for our score predictions league. So do not mess it up, Hannah. How are you, Hannah?
Big pressure there. I am good off the back of a slightly underwhelming return to Europe, but not a great European debut for me, but all good. Happy to be back live and seeing some friendly names and faces in the chat tonight.
Yes, it wouldn't be Villa if it isn't plain sailing, smooth, going unbeaten in Europe, going to Athens and lifting it quite comfortably. So it's just classic Villa anyway. So we're going to kick it off then with the match preview, Chelsea. We have got the opposition preview out tomorrow with a massive Chelsea fan channel. So stay tuned for that one tomorrow as well. But it's going to be a very, very difficult game. I am going to be talking about the away performances in quite a bit of detail in a second. But Hannah, how are you feeling about our trip to Stamford Bridge?
Well, I've seen a lot of stats this week, a lot of stats mocking Chelsea for their form in the last year and a bit. I saw something now, not sure how factually correct it is. I think it's right that Chelsea hadn't won a game against like the top 15 in the Premier League for like 400 odd days. Up step Aston Villa, of course. So if we're doing typical Aston Villa, we will be the one to break that curse. However, we have to acknowledge the fact that this is not a Chelsea team that I knew growing up, that you would have known growing up. They are so far beyond that at the minute. That's not to say that they won't ever get back there, but at the minute, they are struggling. They've got a world-class coach. They've spent nearly £1 billion in transfers since the new owners came in, which is just monumental, but they haven't got it clicking. Now, that's not to say we can underestimate this game, because it is one of those that is a typical banana skin. You go into thinking, Chelsea are rubbish at the minute. We can easily beat them, but we cannot guarantee a win against anyone, particularly with our away form at the minute and some of the ways that we're conceding goals, which we'll dive into a bit more. But I think it's a really difficult one to predict. I'm hoping that we can sort of right a few wrongs from the European game this week and kind of go out and make a statement performance at Stamford Bridge. But again, it totally depends if we can get this back line sorted out, and not just the back line, to be fair, just defending as a team. It is a concern, but we have to, all that aside, I am a positive person, so I like to think that we need to see it as a great opportunity to make the most of a struggling Chelsea side, and not fear them, and go there knowing that we are on paper at the minute, the better side. So it will be quite a difficult one to call. I think we'll know in the first 5 minutes, to be honest, what Aston Villa team has turned up because, like we've
Well,
had over the recent years, we're conceding a lot of early goals.
yeah, I hope we don't concede. Yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult game. I think Chelsea are playing slightly better than what their league position has them in. And I think, whenever you go to Stamford Bridge, it's going to be a difficult game. But, I'm looking at it from a Villa perspective, and I've just really got my eye on this away form, and that there's a little niggle in me that really wants this away form and this away performance to be sorted out very, very quickly. Home form, I spoke last week about how I wasn't bothered about us being really free flowing, end to end, super attacking football. I wanted a dominant Villa performance. I wanted us to suck the life out of the game. And I felt like we did do that last week. Unfortunately, we went 1-0 behind, which meant in the second half we had to speed things up and get, quicker and had to rush things a little bit. But away from home, I've not seen the control that I personally would like. And I think the control that us Villa fans have been accustomed to under Unai Emery. And I think that's why there's quite a bit of frustration with some of these performances. It's not being negative because we've seen Villa perform well on the road under Unai Emery. And I'm yet to see that really resilient Villa away from home yet, and especially against the so-called top teams in this league, where we all want to progress past last year. We want to get better. And I think these tough away performances against teams that are, the so-called big six or whatever, we've really got to start performing. But there are still a lot of positives, and I'm going to run through some of the positives now. So it's not all technically sort of doom and gloomish. So here on the screen now, we have Aston Villa's form this calendar year. So 2023, this is Aston Villa's form, and it is still very, very good. We're sitting in fourth place, 27 games, 52 points. You're looking at Chelsea this calendar year, 28 games, 25 points. So, there's some real positives there. And I think, I always think if you can take the form from last year into the new season, then it normally puts you in good stead. But, that's still pretty good reading, isn't it, Hannah?
It is. I mean, I'm looking at that, and by my maths, we're nearly at 2 points per game, which if you're getting 2 points a game, you're laughing really. So I did see this earlier in the week, and it kind of put things into perspective after a little bit of a rocky start to the season. You kind of have to look back at the whole of the year and think, do you know what? Obviously, you can't. Football's not based on a calendar year, but it's impressive. And I think anyone can lose to anyone. Nothing is guaranteed. We saw Brighton losing their first Europa League game. So it's not necessarily individual results that are going to concern me at the minute. It's more if it's this recurring pattern of ill defending. But we're on the right track. I think we always acknowledged that it was going to be up and down at points because we're still bedding in new players. We're bedding in new philosophy. It doesn't happen overnight, and we were spoilt a little bit with how Unai Emery came in and how glorious it was. It wasn't always going to be like that. There are going to be times that we suffer, and we've lost big players. I mean, look at it losing Mings on the first day. Whatever you thought of Tyrone Mings, right? He orchestrated our defensive line, so that impact can't be underestimated. We've got to give ourselves some credit that we're still look at what company we've got in that top 4 or 5 excellent footballing teams. So I think it's perspective is needed, some positivity is needed, and just some caution that we need to address certain issues like obviously defending away from home.
Yes, this also is good reading, in my opinion, as well. It's the percentage of goal kicks long, and you can pretty much see that all of the footballing sides that get the ball down on the ground are at the highest, the top parts of this section. So again, we're on 29.4, so we're sitting in 5th place here. So you can tell that we are playing out from the back, and I think this is quite like that, to be fair. And then we've got this next one of all 20 teams in the first 5 games. Aston Villa currently sits second in XG. So we are creating the chances. They need to be put away. I think that's what this sort of graphic leads. But again, we're creating the chances. So we've really got to just stick them away. So there we go. So I'm going to fly through the general match preview stats. And then we'll get into sort of like the defending and the little niggles that me and Hannah currently have. So we've played each other 59 times in the Premier League. Aston Villa have won 6 away games and Chelsea have won 16 at home. This is the recent meetings. It's been pretty mixed, to be fair. In 2021, there's a 1-1, 3-1 Chelsea, 2-0 Chelsea, 1-0 Villa in a friendly, and then 2-0 Villa. So pretty mixed bag, really. It's by the odd goal or two. And this is currently the form table. So I'd say Villa are in slightly a little bit of better form. But, the results for Chelsea, that they are okay there. A couple of bad ones the last 2 games, losing at home to Forest and the 0-0 against Bournemouth. But I do think they did play pretty good against Bournemouth. This is the current stats for this season. So Chelsea are scoring an average of 1 goal per game. Villa are scoring 2.2. We are conceding 2 a game, and they are conceding 1. This was Chelsea's lineup against Bournemouth. So it's the classic Pochettino 4-2-3-1. This was their average position. So as you can see, they are slightly doing something similar to what we do, with one of their fullbacks bombing on and going into a winger position. This was their passing network against Bournemouth. So you can see it's quite expansive. There's quite a lot of width in there. You can see again that their right back has gone forward, Gusto, and left them with a 3 at the back. So it's, in essence, it's something similar to what we do. Interestingly, that it's on their right-hand side, and if we go with Luca Dean or a Moreno in this game and they bomb on, then we would imagine that there'll be a crossover and both players on that side will be trying to look to get forward. Their danger creation against Bournemouth, and this was Bournemouth's passing network. Not too bad. Lack a bit of a focal point, but again, there's some nice width there, and they did play quite good in this game. We've got their XG from this game, shot map from this game. So, what do you make of that, Hannah?
I think you were right at the start to say that perhaps the league position doesn't totally reflect kind of how well they've played or where they're going to be this season. I caught a bit of the Bournemouth game. To be honest, I thought it was quite dull, so I didn't watch all of it. But I think they've got talent in the squad. We know that they've spent enough money to have talent in the squad. So there are obvious dangers there. I just think that I care more about Villa and the way we perform, because I genuinely think that if we play well, if we don't concede in the first 10 minutes and we, can just settle into the game, get the players feeling a bit more confident, I think we can beat anyone. I really do. And we have proven that for the most part under Unai Emery. So I think they're not going to be as easy to score against as some other teams we play this season. I think their issue is in front of goal a bit more. The likes of Sterling, who not been a great signing so far. Jackson, I don't think has hit the ground running as much as they wanted him to. So their issue, I think, will be scoring goals, whereas ours is kind of the opposite. So it'll be an interesting battle. I think they're going to be better defensively and we'll be better attacking. Sarko, there you go. So I think it will be a really interesting competition. I actually kind of think, I don't remember where I predicted Chelsea to finish, but I feel like we might have quite similar seasons looking at us at the minute. Maybe that's wishful thinking. They might go on some brilliant form, but I think they're in like a similar period of like actually trying to figure out how to address some of their problems. They don't seem to have the answers yet. So I don't know. I really can't predict this game, which is not great for a preview show. But I think we might end up playing one of them games, where you equal each other out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to be one of them.
I kind of hope it is, to be fair. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what we can expect from Chelsea, and then I'm going to get on to my big bugbear with us at the minute. So as you can see, this is the Chelsea lineup that played against Bournemouth. So what are Chelsea trying to do? As you saw from the average positions, whether it's a Chilwell. If Chilwell plays, then he'll want to get forward on that left-hand side, but I think he's injured, so they've switched it. So Gusto is bombing on into midfield, and he's acting as a winger role. What they're then doing is the defenders are making a three at the back with Thiago Silva, the centre of those at the back. And then what they are doing is everybody is slightly shifting over, and they're making a box midfield. So similar to what we're trying to do, they've got a box midfield with Sterling cutting inside, becoming a little bit more narrow. They're looking to offer width from Gusto out wide with crosses into the box, and they're playing in quite narrow. He really wants them to be narrow, to play short passes, to be intricate. And I think this ball especially, from DAC to Gusto, is one of the balls that they're looking to get him further forward, the box midfield to control the game, Mudrik's pace out wide as well, and Jackson to be in and around, the centre back. So their system is in essence a 4-2-3-1. But they are playing with this sort of fullback that's bombing on forward as well. So it is a little bit similar to what Aston Villa have got going on. Now, Aston Villa, and what do I want to see from this game? We have to get back to what we were doing last season away from home. Very resolute, very stable, defense-minded, not all out defense, because we want to be, we want to play our game. We want to be, expansive. But we've got to be clever, and we've got to switch on, and we've got to be just more aware and more in tune with what we're trying to do. I think we're just too open, and I just think we're getting carved open too easy. So I'm just going to quickly put this defense on now, and I'm just going to explain to you what I mean and what I think the problem is with Villa at the minute. So I think the problem that we've got at the minute, and I think we saw this problem against Legia Warsaw, is this area in behind our double pivot is a massive, massive problem. There's far too much space. What we saw against Legia, what we saw against Liverpool, what we saw against Newcastle, our midfielders are able to play through our double pivot. And we're literally 3v4. We've got 4v4s, and the defense is far too isolated. There's no protection. And I think until we get more protection with someone like Kamara having an actual role to sit in there more and protect this back line, we're just going to have problems altogether. The other thing that I'd like to say as well is I think the role of the two players either side of the double pivot have got to be more defense-minded. I'm seeing too many times that we might have the ball in and around this area, or it's up top, and we lose the ball on transition quickly, and it's sort of one pass, boom. it's bypassed our whole midfield, and we're literally scrambling around to try and recover. And we just can't do it, because if you're getting someone on the ball like Mudryk, for example, who's literally 1v1 with Cash, and he burns out Cash, you've got someone like Sterling who's making runs on that back post as well. You've got players arriving late in the box as well. I just think we need this midfield to be more savvy. And I'm not asking for something that I've not seen before. How many times last season did we see sort of a Ramsey sort of allowing Luca Dean and this defence to sort of sit a little bit more narrow? We've got McGinn that's coming back. We've then sort of got this 3 shape here. So in essence, we've got sort of a 5-3-1. And so far this season, I haven't seen that. And I think that was one of the best things that we were doing away from home, was this defensive shape. And at the minute, we're not even allowed to get into this shape because it's just bypassed through the whole team so quickly. It's just literally ridiculous. And I think we've just got to fix up and be more defence-minded and work in unison. I see a lot of criticism about this high line. And honestly, sometimes I don't even think it is the high line. It's the fact that there's just too many gaps between each zone. There's a defence, a double pivot, then there's the 2 players either side of the double pivot. And then we've basically, in essence, got 2 players up top that aren't going to defend. These 2 aren't going to defend. So Zaniolo or a McGinn have got to offer the protection, even against Legia Warsaw, when it was that player was up against Chambers and he crossed it back to Luca Dean. Where was the protection? So it's okay us being critical of, say, someone running behind Luca Dean, but in front of that, the midfield's just disappearing. So I want us to get back to defending properly away from home. And I'm not asking for something that we've not seen before, because this is what we were doing last season. And I think the other issue that we've kind of got is the Diaby role, where he partners Watkins up top. He can defend as well. We can ask him to come in these areas and help out a little bit. So I think we need to really get back on track. And this is something that Villa fans, I've got my eye on this game, because I am confident. I do think we can go there and get something, but we've got to defend. So there's my rant done. Hannah, what are your thoughts?
I think you're absolutely spot on. In fact, I actually quite enjoyed sitting back and listening to that. I think you're spot on. I just remember Emery coming in, and I cannot for the life of me remember what game it was, but we executed the sort of back 6 so well. We had John McGinn on the one side, and I can't remember who it was on the other side. It was probably Ramsey at the time, filling him. So what was happening as well is you were getting a lot of overlap, like because we were trying to use the fullbacks more. We were really utilising like the likes of John McGinn and Ramsey to overlap and support the fullbacks a lot more, because while they were bombing on, sometimes they'd have to be quick track back, and you'd have 2 of them rushing back, and it would work. You'd have the pressure. What I was quite frustrated at by the end of the Legia Warsaw game was there just didn't seem to be a desire to even put a tackle in. Now that's what they were doing. They were throwing challenges in, and I think sometimes they don't look like they want to even try. I mean, sometimes I think they're a bit worried about getting booked, but if you got to get booked, sometimes you got to get booked. The tactical foul, you can't complain too much. We just seem to stand off. The press seems to go weak, and they're just kind of jogging. And it's like, okay, well, if you're not going to really support your defence, you can't then complain when they're conceding a volume of goals, because it's not just down to those 4 players to stop the ball going in the back of the net. The overload, like you say, from if you've only got Luca Dean with Sterling, and that's happening all game, there's gonna be other players coming in, he's gonna get overloaded. He needs that support. And what Emery did when he came in, because we were so bad under Gerrard, he came in, he steadied the ship, And what he focused on was getting us defensively sound. We weren't always scoring a lot of goals, but we were winning by sort of one goal, and we were staying quite strong defensively. The Brighton game away sticks out to me. We conceded early on, but then we went on to win the game and we kept it really, really tight away from home. And that one sticks out to me. And it just feels like we're not at that point at the minute. We perhaps are too attacking minded. I don't know, because fundamentally
Yeah,
the structure of the team hasn't changed that much, but it's more the sort of setup in defence, because we're not dropping into that sort of brick wall of a defence, are we? We're kind of
no,
staying in the attacking formation when we're trying to defend, and it's not working, especially if you've not got some of the most attacking players pulling the weight. I've seen a comment, someone mentions Buendia and Ramsey doing the dirty work. I've mentioned it before. Buendia is a little fella, but he put in a shift. Ramsey did the same. Hopefully, we get him back in that role soon. But the forward players need to be helping out, not just McGinn, not just Kamara, not just Louise. It's a team sport for a reason, and we need to, like you say, I'm sure Emery thinks it as well. Perhaps just go back to them basics. We don't need to be playing gorgeous football every week. It's nice. Comebacks where you score 3 goals in 10 minutes are nice, but ultimately, it's not sustainable. What is sustainable is a solid core of your team that can defend
mhm,
well, and that is how we got so many points at the end of last
yeah,
season. Without a doubt, that is how we
yeah.
succeeded.
I 100% agree, and I understand at home we can be more expansive. We can be more. We can push the opposition. We control the games more. I totally understand this. And I understand where Sarko and Co are coming from, because yes, we're trying to play like a top team. I understand that, but this the way we are defending, the way we are leaving us so exposed is just suicidal, And we're starting to see that teams don't need 3 or 4 chances to score. It's the Premier League, they can score off one shot, etc. And what I'm saying is we just need to be more defensively resolute, not sort of like sitting back defending, but just aware of what's happening on the pitch. Like, everybody know their role, that there's a certain time that you have got to sort of come back and out support and stuff like that. So I understand that we're trying to progress things, but at the minute we've got a problem with defending away from home. It's just everybody can see. So I think, like Hannah's saying, like we have got to go back to being that team that are very difficult to play against at home and etc. Because for me, we have to, basically. I think if we carry on defending the way that we are away from home like this, then we're in for a very, very tough time on the road. So I'll try and just quickly go through some of your comments. So Matt C is saying, but in games v top 8 sides, I think we need to be more defensive. I agree. I think that word defensive sometimes can be seen as like really negative. Like, nobody wants us to be defensive, but I think at times you have to be. So I think that's the point that we really trying to make. So yeah, so what we are gonna do now then, let's read this one more. The balance is just wrong. The players aren't used to defending that high up the pitch. They also can't retain possession under pressure, which turns the ball over way too often. Yeah, 100% agree with that as well. Right then, so let's shift it up then to the predicted lineup. And what we want to do is we want you guys at home to fire in the comment section and predict the lineup. So we're going to go with the defense first. So we're going to go Martinez, obviously. So in the chat, I want you to put the defenders that you want to see, and I'll try and gauge the majority, and I'll put them in the team. So it's basically going to be your lineup that we're going to go with. And then me and Hannah will have a quick chat about it before we put your lineup in there. So Do you think it's too soon for Moreno?
I don't think so. I think he's got to come back at some point. He's been fit enough to be on the bench the last couple of weeks. I was surprised at how quick Ramsey came back into the not the starting lineup, but into the squad, match day squad. So I think we've got to give him some minutes. He needs to get back up to match fitness, doesn't he? So I'd quite like to see him in this game. I think Luca Dean, he's doing well going forward, isn't he? But I think he struggled a little bit on Thursday night in the European game. So might be a good time potentially to give Moreno the call. Got a lot of people wanting to see Moreno in the chat.
Yeah, but he didn't come on, did he? Against
no, he's had no minutes.
So he's had no.
It is risky.
I think without any minutes, it's very risky to put him in there.
I think Emery does quite like, the Luca Dean starting and then Moreno comes on at sort of 65, 70 minutes and vice versa. So it might be that he does that, gives Dean the start and then gives Moreno some minutes towards the end when hopefully we're in a winning position.
He's really got to watch that run up behind his shoulder if Luca Dean's going to play. Because he keeps doing it, doesn't he? He keeps just letting him run, and I'm like, track your runner.
It's almost like he's waiting for an offside call or something.
Yeah. So I think the majority have gone Luca Dean. Right, Villa fans in the chat, then what's your midfield four? So double pivot and two either side. Hannah, next question. Is it too soon for Ramsey, or can Ramsey play in this game?
I think he had a relatively bright cameo, to be fair. There was clips doing the rounds of when he sort of did a really nice turn on the attack on Thursday night. What I love about Ramsey is he really is a different player to anyone else we have because he drives from that midfield. McGinn does it a bit, but McGinn does tend to like to pick a pass and then, be kind of box to box, whereas Ramsey really likes to carry the ball, and we don't have too many ball carriers in the way that he is. So I would like to see him in this game. I think, again, if he needs 60 minutes and then come off, then that's fine. But he's also got obviously a great attacking quality to him. We know he can contribute to goals and assists, and he will stick in at the other end if he needs to. I think he's such a good, well-rounded, sort of wide midfield player that he's such an asset for us. And I think now he's back, we want to get him back into the team, don't we? So I would personally like to see him start.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put him in there. I think we're crying out for him in there. To be fair, we are literally
just something a bit different.
And it's just that pace and to help out more. He's so good in this position. So I think he played 30 odd minutes. I think if he can get to 60, I think we can make changes. One thing that I have seen someone mention, and I was thinking of this before we came on, is putting McGinn back in that double pivot. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't love it.
No,
I don't love it. Well, do you know what? It's good to have healthy debate. I'm happy for you to convince me. I just think whenever we've seen him there, I mean, how long was he playing in that role? Sort of even under Dean Smith and then under Gerrard, and we were always calling out for a more attacking John McGinn. So I think if he is to play in that role, it would be less of like a Kamara type double pivot and more of like what you'd imagine perhaps Tielemans' type role of slightly more advanced box to box. But I just don't love it. I think John McGinn's quality is that he wants to be everywhere. He wants to be throwing in challenges. He wants to be involved in the action. And I feel like that freedom is sort of where we see the best of him. I don't necessarily love love tying him down into that role. I don't doubt that he has the ability, because he does have that natural nature to be quite defensive, and he's a solid player, isn't he? So I don't hate it, but I just think whenever we have played him there, we normally think, oh, we want to see the free flowing John McGinn. We want to see more from him, and I don't want it to
Yeah.
restrain him too much. That's my concern.
No, and it's just Kamara. He's just off it in it at the minute, and I just
A
think
little
this is
bit.
going to be a really tough game in midfield. Like it's going to be very combative, especially if Caicedo comes back in. So we'll go with Kamara, but Villa fans, let's remember this little chat we've had. Let's see whether McGinn goes in there, but we'll go Kamara.
The thing
Because I
with
think
John
the
McGinn
majority,
is I back him. Like, I
yeah,
think he can do it. He can do it, and then he can be attacking. Um, but it's not like he produces loads of goals and assists. So we're not going to miss his attacking contribution. But I just think he likes free roaming. He likes to be all over the place. So we'll see. But he can do it, and I wouldn't knock it. In fact, to be fair, how he will often kind of drop into it if we're making substitutions mid game. Like, he'll drop into that role if we take Kamara or Louise off and bring on an attacker. So we know he can do it.
yeah. And then, okay, so we will go. Obviously, we're going to put McGinn inside anyway. So he's going somewhere. So we're going to go with that then. So Villa fans, here we go. Your top two, Villa, who's up top? And I've got to say, my episode last night, I was very annoyed and I couldn't really portray my positive vibe against Duran. But my God, is he looking like a proper striker? Like a
A
striker
handful.
that, but one where right place, right time. Like the
Yeah.
header
His
followed the
positioning.
shot up. That ball landed exactly where Duran was.
Yeah.
That's a striker. You can't teach that. He followed it up.
Yeah.
He headed it in, and he's a handful. He does
He
annoy me
is
when
proper
people keep
handful.
going on about he's I wouldn't play him because I don't think he can get 90 minutes because he's got a red card in him. And I'm like, well, hold on a minute. He ain't had a red card yet. But Benteke had that hothead streak to him. And look how good he was.
Yeah.
Someone up there that's all right. Okay, he might get a yellow card for sticking his elbow or barging into somebody, but at least he's leaving his mark on someone. At
It's
least
passion, mate. It's the
yeah,
passion.
like he just oozes everything that you'd want from a 19-year-old kid that's up top. Like he can be
100%.
bulldozer mode if he needs to be. He's got a great shot on him. Yes, we don't want to put loads of pressure on him, but at the end of the day, he's scored 4 goals so far this season. I think is he averaging a goal every 60 minutes or something. So, he's looking really, really good. And considering he's not had a pre-season and he's just sort of come into the side since the season started, I can't talk more highly of him because we've all wanted and a lot of the fan base has said that, we need another striker. We need another striker. We can't learn Watkins. But we've got one. This kid's putting the ball in the back of the net. So, yeah, I just thought I'd want to just praise him up a little bit because I've been massively impressed with him. So, what do you want to add anything?
I'm impressed because when we were talking about it, was it January he came? I can't even remember, Or was it last summer? Really awful knowledge from me. I apologise. But when he came in, we were kind of like, we must see something in him, but maybe he's one for the future. We might loan him out. We weren't quite sure what we were going to see. And then obviously, he's just kind of fell into a bit of form, and he's surprised me. He really has. I think he seems just like he loves playing football, and I love to watch that. As a football fan, you love watching players who seem like they're enjoying it and are passionate. And mean, he's got the technical ability. It's not like it's just, coming off his arse or anything. He's scored some brilliant goals. That header was good. Was a good header.
Yeah,
Um,
it was.
so he's impressed me. Whether Unai wouldn't start Watkins, I still doubt it at the minute. But I
Yeah,
love the fact that we can have Duran come on after 60, 65 minutes, and this is still an impactful striker coming on here. It's not like we're taking 10 steps down from Watkins.
yeah. So, chat, are you going Duran? Yes or no? I can't see him starting Duran. I think he would start Watkins. But I think it's getting to the point where at
You
this
can't
moment
deny
in
him.
time, I'm starting to think, like 5 games ago in the Premier League, you'd say, could Duran start games? And we were all sort of saying, come the end of the season, he might be getting some minutes. In my head now, I'm going, if he don't score in this game or a couple more games, I'm going Duran. I'm going
Yeah.
Duran up top.
You have to.
I
Yeah,
think,
you've got to go with him with your most informed players ultimately. So, but we do need Watkins to score. We've gone into it, haven't we? We need Watkins to score. So, um, uh, it looks pretty balanced. People, I think it's
yeah,
smart, isn't it? I think
I
they've
think
played Watkins.
let's use our head for now, and we'll come back to this next week. And then one more point that I'd like to make: we keep getting a lot of thoughts on Luke. What do you make of Watkins not signing this new contract? Do you think it's weighing him down? Do you think it's having this? Do you think? Look, when they go on that pitch and cross them white lines, he's not thinking about where he's left his pen. He's thinking about playing football and trying to score goals. So, contract talk, no contract talk, I don't think that would affect his performances one bit. So,
Strikers are
um,
selfish players, and
yeah, no, Hannah,
even
all players are selfish, all of
well,
them.
yeah. But from a cynical perspective, right, if he genuinely doesn't want to sign a contract and wants to move, he knows he's got to score goals to get a good move.
Yeah,
No one wants a striker that isn't scoring. So either way, he'll be trying to score. That doesn't necessarily worry me.
yeah, right, cool. So there's your lineup. That's what you've gone with. We'll see how you guys do. And we'll go from there. Right. So the final part of this episode then is the score predictions, and Hannah is going to fly through these for us.
I am going to fly
They
through
are.
him because I've not planned
thi-
anything.
This is my league, and I am currently top. So
Oh God. Oh
no
God.
pressure
The
whatsoever.
pressure
Then,
is
so
seriously on.
Villa fans, make sure at home you are going to do your predictions, and then it gets put into the league table. So, Hannah, Palace v Fulham.
Absolute snooze fest, if you ask me. Um, both in okay form. But I'm gonna go like a 1-1, a Palace Fulham
Okay,
1-1.
okay.
Boring.
Or I'll tell
Um,
you what. Now this is a
this
massive
is a
game. This is
this is a 6-pointer, mate.
humongous, right? This is save your season or you're going down.
Yeah,
What you going with?
6-pointer, mate. I think the one thing Luton fans keep going on about is that they've got, they've got their home form to fall back on. It's not working so far. I think Wolves will win.
Do you?
So yeah, I think Wolves are going to win 2-0.
Oh, see, in my head, I've got cheeky Luton, but
Nah,
your predictions,
I
right?
think they're pants.
Do you?
I think they're pants. Wolves are also pants, but Luton have bigger
Yeah.
pants. Yeah. Man
Man
City,
City.
Forest. I think Forest could potentially get a goal here. I'm going to go 3-1 to City.
Who's to say get a win? Brentford,
Nah.
Everton.
Uh, it's got to be a Brentford win. 2-0.
2-0. And Burnley United.
could actually see Burnley getting something here, you know. United are a bit of
Me
a
too.
shambles.
Yeah.
2-2.
Yeah. Nice. I
Why
like
not?
it. Oh,
Why
what's
not?
going on? What is going on? Hold on. Let me just hold on. Let me just log in for some reason.
We're having technical
What
difficulties. The beauty of live broadcasting. I will remember everything I've just gone through. So
okay.
there's
Let's see
people
what
saying 3-0 to United. That's a good
really?
call. They're not in great form, are they? They're struggling a bit. I think Ten Hag seems to be rubbing a couple of his players the wrong way as well.
Yeah.
Wolves 2-0. Someone agrees with me. Great. It's a great opinion. But that Luton Wolves game is a big one. Definitely.
You
Very,
went Wolves 2.
very
Did you go
interesting.
Wolves 2-0?
I did do Wolves 2-0. I did Man City 3-1.
3-1.
Brentford 2-0. And then a 2-2.
What?
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
There we go. We're cooking.
So Arsenal, Tottenham.
Oh, lovely. Really, really, really big game this because both are, for the first time I can actually see Spurs winning. I'm gonna go.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna go high scoring 3-2 Arsenal.
Oh.
Why not? There's been
Okay.
a lot of goals recently. Brighton are gonna
Brighton,
beat
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth 2 2-0. Or 2-1. Do 2-1 because
2-1.
yeah, they're not defending amazingly. Chelsea Villa. Oh, what do we think? I think I said 1-1 in the week, so I might just stick with
Yeah.
1-1 for Chelsea Villa. I'm gonna be boring and sit on the fence.
Yeah.
I'll take a
I
point.
think 1-1. Yeah.
I think I'd take a point. And then Liverpool West Ham. I think that's another potentially interesting game. Liverpool don't lose though, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 again. And
And
then
Sheffield United,
United,
Newcastle.
2-0 Newcastle.
I think there might be something in that for Sheffield, you know. So if we've got any Monday
Potentially.
games, so there's
I think
no
that's all
Monday
10, isn't it?
games. Yeah. So hopefully, Hannah, I am still going to be
Can't believe you're top
there
of the league.
come the end of the predictions. Are you still playing it at home?
I may have only done the first week and then forgotten about it.
Oh my God.
I'm not doing a good job of repping, am I?
No, I think
So I'm probably right
Ryan's
at the
doing
bottom.
quite bad. Yeah, Ryan's doing quite bad as well, I think.
I need to
So anyway,
get back on it.
here's how many people are playing. If you're not playing at home, then you can still play. I am going to be giving away a football shirt hamper of your choice. So whatever you want to, whatever shirts you want in it, I'll put them in it for you. So there you go. So whoever wins, we have had a question how you join the league. So what you want to do is, let me just show you. So you'll go on upthevillapodcast.co.uk. You'll go under
Best
social
website in the
hub.
world.
Yes, you've got your predicted lineup, your player ratings for after the games, and then your score predictions. You just make an account through here, like sign up or log in, and then you can just keep playing each week. And yeah, it is a fantastic website. It's got lots of fan written content, player ratings, it's got match previews, it's got opposition pieces before each game as well. So, you know, if you like reading and that's your thing and you want to consume more content, then it's all written by Villa fans and it's of really good quality as well. So we've both done our predictions then. We've both sort of gone with 1-1. Hopefully we see a better performance defending, because what I don't want to do is come on here after the game and be talking about how bad the defending is away from home again. So it's got to be better. So yeah, there we go. Hopefully you've all enjoyed this episode. We've got the opposition preview with Chelsea Fan TV tomorrow. A really good episode. So to find out everything about Chelsea and their vibe and their spending and who to watch out for, where Chelsea's ambition lies, Pochettino's vibe. There's a lot in there, and it's a really good episode. So that one will be out tomorrow. And then after the game, we'll have a match reaction, player ratings, and then a debrief. That'll probably be out on Monday. And then we'll just turn our attention to the League Cup. So if you haven't already, hit a like, subscribe to the channel as well. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.